Hi everyone, my name is Kara. I'm representing DC Canada Education Publishing. Happy to see a few familiar faces and hopefully some new ones soon as well. So today we are launching the third book in the Grandma and Grandpa's Adventure series. It's called The Sleepover, La Soirée Pyjama. It is bilingual like the other ones have been. And I really like this one, I have to say. Poor Grandpa just he goes through it in this one. So I can't wait to share that with all of you. Today's schedule, well, I'm obviously welcoming you right now. I'm going to tell you a bit about the author and illustrator behind this awesome new book. We're going to learn more about why Esther wrote this book, and we're going to read it along with her. There will be some activities and a contest, a Q&A with Esther, and then a few closing remarks. So, with that being said, we will get started. So this is the team behind this book. Esther obviously is the one who wrote the book. Erin illustrated. Unfortunately, she could not join us for the launch today, but we do have some info about her and some of her really neat sketches that I'll show you. There's me, the editor for the English. Sophie Dupuis is the editor for the French, although I work on that too. And then we have, of course, the brains behind it all, May, our publishing director. So, Esther was born in Hungary from a Hungarian mother and a French father. She has a master's degree in French literature and a bachelor's degree in translation. After living in several European countries for her studies and work, she moved to Calgary, Canada, where she lives with her husband and son. The inspiration for her Grandma and Grandpa's Adventure series came from having her parents live far away and struggle to come visit their grandson. Erin, like I said, who is not here, but I'll tell you about her. She's done a few different projects with us. So, Erin is an up-and-coming children's book illustrator living in Nova Scotia, Canada, where she also produces greeting cards and fine art for artisan markets. She has even worked for Canadian video game studios. She loves to inject humor into her work, as you can see with illustrations such as this one. She also mixes traditional and digital media, merging her background in fine arts and concept art. She enjoys an active lifestyle, cooking, attending live theater, and traveling, all of which influence her work. And she just had a baby, so that's why she's not here. But yes, congrats to Erin. We look forward to seeing how that will reflect in her illustrations going forward. With that, we're going to hear from Esther on why she wrote this book, and then we're going to read it.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm sorry about my voice. I'm a little bit sick, so I hope I can read the whole book for you guys. So yeah, the inspiration behind the book was during COVID, when my parents couldn't come visit. And one night I just couldn't sleep. I was trying to figure out how to get them here, and then somehow I just thought of this book. My son was obsessed with trucks, garbage trucks, cars, and things like that. So I don't know. I just suddenly started thinking, oh, I should write a book about grandparents who are trying to get to their grandkids and who use all means of transport available to get there. So that was basically the idea for the first book, and then yeah, it just kept going. Yeah, so that's about it. Kara, do you want me to start reading?
Yes, I will go to my next slide. We're going to read, so I'll have it on the screen along with whatever you're reading from.
Sounds good. On a sunny summer afternoon, Nolan and Emma get dropped off at Grandma and Grandpa's house for a sleepover. The excited grandparents greet them at the door. Good afternoon, my sweethearts. Come in. Grandpa and I have some fun things planned for us, says Grandma. Kiddos, we couldn't wait to see you, says Grandpa happily. When they get inside, Grandpa tells them I hope you brought your aprons. It's Grandma's birthday tomorrow, so we're going to make her a special cake. We love making cakes, cheer Nolan and Emma. But for that, we need to go pick some fresh strawberries from the garden. Yay, let's go, replied Nolan and Emma at the same time. A little later, Grandma announces, "Dinner time, kiddos." "What are we going to have?" asks Nolan. "I made noodles. Here's some tomato sauce and here's the cheese. Just put as much of everything on your plate as you'd like. I'll go upstairs and run a bath for you," says Grandma, putting out the food. "Hey, there's chocolate sauce in the kitchen. What if we put some chocolate on the pasta instead?" whispers Nolan to Emma, grabbing the bottle from the fridge. He squirts a lot of chocolate on his noodles. "Yum! Best dinner ever!" shrieks Emma. "Ew! What are you guys eating?" asks Grandpa. "Nothing," replies Nolan quickly. "Let me try that," says Grandpa as he takes a bite of the spaghetti. "Mmm, that is very tasty. Don't tell Grandma, but those are the best noodles I've ever had." "Kids, bath time!" yells Grandma from upstairs. "We're coming!" Emma hollers back, covered in chocolate. After breakfast, Emma and Nolan's mom come to pick them up. "Happy birthday, Mom! How was your sleepover, kids?" asked their mother. "So much fun! Grandpa chased a groundhog, we had a foam party, and we slept in Grandma and Grandpa's bed. It was awesome!" exclaims Nolan. "Well, it sounds like you had the best time." Mommy looks at Grandma. "So, can we bring them back next weekend?" she asks. "We're very busy next weekend," says Grandma. "And the weekend after," says Grandpa, as he follows Grandma inside and quickly closes the front door. The end.
Thank you, Esther. Again, that is The Sleepover, the third book in this series. And now we're going to move into a few little activities. So you can go on the poll with this QR code. And there are just three quick questions on there. So we so far have one vote for yes and one vote for no for would you try spaghetti with chocolate sauce? I can tell you my answer is no on that one. I don't think that I would do that. Well, no is winning, understandably. That is kind of gross. All right, well, I think the overwhelming majority has said no to spaghetti and chocolate sauce. I guess Grandpa was pretty brave. The next poll question is, would you have followed the groundhog into the dirt to save your carrot? Well, I would say no to that one as well. Although I do like carrots, that's a bit more committed than I would be to the fight against the groundhogs. Oh, May says yes, she would in the chat. May would indeed follow the groundhog. I that sounds like her. With her gardening, I can see that. And the final poll question is would you have a foam party? And for this one, I would say yes, actually. I think that would be fun, especially if someone else cleans it up, but I would be willing to mop a little bit for a very fun foam party. And it looks like yes is winning on that one and in the chat as well. That one is the majorities. So a few questions for our attendees, Esther.
Well, what was your favorite part of the story?
I can start. I do like the spaghetti part myself. I think
Yeah.
Grandpa's willingness to try that and the kids' reactions and then Grandma's reaction to seeing the chocolate on their faces. I like that.
I would totally try that though. Like, how can that go wrong? It's two good things, noodles and chocolate. I feel like that would be good. In Hungary, we do eat noodles with sweet sauces though, with like walnuts and things like that. So I think it would be good.
That
Cottage
sounds
cheese,
good.
even
Mm.
sweet cottage cheese.
Maybe the next question then.
Oh, yeah. So why do you think Grandpa always has bad luck? So third question, what kind of crazy sauce would you put on your spaghetti? All right. So last question, do you have a grandma story to share? I'm guessing a funny story.
Oksana, please share.
Yes, my mother, she had a full set, like upper false teeth. And once, remember, she had something in the oven, like cabbage rolls or a big roast pan of that, and so she bent over to take the cabbage rolls out of the oven, and she sneezed, and her teeth went flying into the oven. So,
Oh my
so she
God.
had to use her oven mitts to retrieve her teeth. True story.
Oh no, that's
Oh my God.
awful.
Yeah.
At
Oh.
least they didn't go in the cabbage rolls.
No. They were covered. Yeah.
Okay, if there are no more stories, we will move to a little word game to unscramble the words from the story. This is the first one. What about this one? The third one. And one last one. This one's got a lot of letters. And with that, we will move into our Q&A with Esther. So, does anyone have any questions for our wonderful author here?
So, my question, do you have more grandpa, grandma stories to continue the adventure?
You mean more books or just more stories?
I mean more books or more stories. I just wonder if you it's because at the beginning you probably planned one book or two, and then now have
Yeah.
three. Yeah.
Yes. Well, I actually wrote two more, but I didn't like them. So now I just keep thinking about what the next one is going to be that I can actually like have
Yeah.
published.
Uh-huh.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I have a lot of more stories in my head. I just need to
Yeah.
write one that I like before
Mm.
I
Yes.
before I show it to anybody.
Yeah. How are the kids? Your daughter? I think at this very special time, you have a daughter just born, and
Yes.
you have work too. So it seems
Yeah.
overloaded.
Yes, I'm pretty busy. Well, I'm a translator, so I'm working, and
I
then I have two
see.
kids as well, two kids under 5. So they keep
Mm,
me pretty busy as well.
busy,
Yeah.
busy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty busy, but I'll do the fourth one for sure soon. I just need a little bit of time.
So
My
we have
kids are
two
pretty, yeah.
questions in the chat. When you start a draft, do you know the storyline or does it come to you as you write?
So, it's a good question. I actually the last two, so this one and the camping one, I woke up like it was the same as for the first one. I basically got the inspiration in the middle of the night when I couldn't sleep. So like I woke up in the morning with almost the whole story in my head. And with one of the other ones that I wrote, it was the same thing, but I just didn't like it. So yeah, one morning I'll just wake up with the story, I think. And then of course I add a little bit more to it as I write to make it a full story. But yeah, I usually wake up with pretty long draft and then I keep adding to it as I write it as well. Did some of these things actually happen to you? Let me think. Well, no. I mean, so my kids inspire a lot of the stories. So my son is obsessed with making coffee. He's obsessed with our robot vacuum. So yeah, my son, whose name is Nolan, he inspired a lot of this. What else? I don't know if there's other, definitely not the garden part because we don't have a backyard or anything like that. I mean, we do have a backyard, but we don't have any, we don't grow anything there. Oh, definitely the nights because we usually wake up with at least one child in our bed at night, usually two. So that's definitely a real story. Um, but and so yeah, the last time we had my husband's mom watch the kids for a sleepover. My daughter ended up sleeping in a suitcase. She fell asleep in the suitcase. So yeah, that could go in the next story, I guess. Yeah, so kids are definitely an inspiration. You need a big bed. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, we have a king size, but the kids take over all of it when they're in there. So we do end up on the edges of the bed, like in the story. So that's definitely inspired by true events. And it happens almost every night. So yeah.
Can you tell us about why the books are bilingual?
Yeah, so I'm half French, and I started speaking to my kids in French. My husband started speaking to them in English when they were born. And then when they got older, they always wanted to read books. So they were bringing the books, they were bringing me the English books, and they were bringing my husband the French books. And my husband doesn't speak French. So I was thinking it would be great to have a book that we could read in both languages. So they could bring me the book, I could read the French part, they could bring him the same book and read the English part. And that's what inspired the bilingual aspect of the books. Because I mean, there's a lot of bilingual kids now. So I was also thinking we could translate it into different languages, keep the English, because a lot of kids learn English in school. I know from my background, I went to a French school, but we studied English from when we were 6 years old. So yeah, I think a lot of families would enjoy having a book they can read in two languages.
We have a question from in the chat. What are some of the challenges to writing that you find?
Well, for me, it's finding the time to write. Because then when I do have time and I do have the inspiration, then it goes relatively fast. But yeah, and the other challenge could be that I don't have daily inspiration from the grandparents because we don't have grandparents around, right? My parents live in Hungary and my husband's parents live in Ontario and we're in Calgary. So we don't have, daily interactions with the grandparents that could inspire more stories. So I need to make things up as I go.
We have a question from in the chat. Do you see the illustrator's draft sketches? Are you able to comment or make suggestions?
So I didn't see the draft sketches this time, but I think, well, it wasn't, did I see the drafts? I think I saw so at first, she sent me or us drafts of the characters because we needed to choose what grandma and grandpa would look like. So I definitely saw drafts of that. And I think I was being quite demanding because I had an idea of what I wanted grandma and grandpa to look like, and she nailed it. I really like the illustrations. And then now for the last one, I think I've seen a little bit of the drafts, but then I saw maybe a few pictures, but then I think, Kara, you sent me the book when it was almost like the illustrations when they were ready, right? If I
Yeah,
remember
we
correctly.
saw a bit of it in the office too and made a few suggestions and
Yeah.
then kind of came together. By the third book, Erin kind of has a
Mhm.
pretty good idea of what we're looking for
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
illustration. So
Exactly. Yeah. So I think I've seen more of the drafts for the first two, but for this one it went pretty fast.
any other questions for Esther before we go to I think our last slide? All right, so last little thing, of course, thank you all for being here. Esther, any final words?
No, thank you very much for joining. I hope you liked the book. And that's it. Thank you, guys.
Great, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for being here and for your nice messages as well in the chat for participating. Everyone have a good rest of your day and give your grandparents a call if they're still around.
Thank you, guys.
Take care. Bye now.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.